and that would be Rhodes King. All in favor? Thank you. No introduction of late items, and first on our list of delegations is the 2015.
You need to adopt the agenda.
Pardon me?
Adopt the agenda.
I do apologize. The agenda needs to be adopted. Youngberg King, all in favor? Thank you. And delegations. So we have the audited financial statements from 2015, and we will ask Mr. Zackel to start. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. So before council is to present the 2015 audited financial statements for the town of Osoyoos and Sun Bowl Arena for council's approval. The town's auditors, White Kennedy, have completed the audit of the town of Osoyoos and Sun Bowl Arena and have prepared the 2015 financial statements for your review and approval. I've reviewed all of our accounts and can confirm the accuracy of the numbers. Tessa King and Amanda Hasselgrave of White Kennedy are in attendance to present the audit opinion to the town or to town council for both the town of Osoyoos and Sun Bowl Arena financial statements. The highlights for the 2015 audited financial statements include: from page 3, consolidated statement of financial position, we have an increase in net financial assets of $1,632,091. Our accumulated surplus has increased to $64,165,800. And of that, $53,299,820 is equity and tangible capital assets. From our consolidated statement of operations, the excess revenue over expenditures was $1,646,117 in 2015. Of this, portions referenced below is a cash surplus from the three funds totaling $1,347,197.43. From the general fund, we had a surplus of $324,227.23. Sewer fund, $538,340.91. And the water fund, $484,629.29. From our notes, our cash and cash equivalents, our 2015 balance was $6,737,240. This was down from $7,019,743 in 2014. Our accounts receivable, the 2015 balance was $965,922 and down slightly from the $996,166 in 2014. Municipal Finance Authority deposits, demand notes and cash deposits being held as debt reserve fund are $78,012. Under accounts payable and accrued liabilities, our accounts payable and accrued liabilities are $1,284,995 for 2015, and this is up from $970,559 in 2014. Under deferred revenue is $2,751,831, and this is up from $2,573,718 in 2014. Our community works funding, which is grant funding, balance was $559,500 as of December 31st. Under development cost charges, our parks development cost charges increased by $6,971. The balance is $697,471. The roads DC balance increased by $7,204 to leave a balance of $709,092. Sewer DCC fund increased by $4,629 to have a balance of $455,595. Our water DCC fund increased by $2,176 to leave a balance of $214,222. Pardon me, $214,222. Storm drains has increased by $4 and still has a negative balance of $17,818. Under the capital lease obligations, total capital lease obligation for 2015 is $295,112, and this is down from $368,760 from 2014. Under long-term debt, our general fund has increased by $216,659 to a balance of $662,884, mainly due to the financing of our 2011 Freightliner, with Municipal Finance Authority changing from our leasing program to equipment financing program. Capital leases were reduced as a result. Under our sewer fund, long-term debt is decreased by $44,775, and we have a balance of $375,505 outstanding. And our water long-term debt is decreased by $17,491, and we have a balance of $170,280 in water long-term debt. Under landfill and post-closure liability, the estimated life of the Osoyoos sanitary landfill is 24 years, and a post-closure liability that is fully funded to December 31st, 2015 is $328,500. $61,995 was transferred into a reserve fund for post-closure liability for 2015. Under the consolidated schedule of tangible capital assets, our net book value of tangible capital assets is increased by $62,254 to a balance of $54,803,601 in 2015. Under reserves for future expenditures, general fund has $1,970,333. This is up from $1,652,545 in 2014. Our sewer fund is $521,499, and it's got the same balance as 2014. And our water fund has $1,612,974, and same as 2014. Our schedule of property and other taxes, net taxation for 2015 was $2,595,073. Under consolidated revenues and expenditures by object, excess revenue over expenditures was $1,646,117 for 2015. This also shows the level of subsidization through taxation for protective, transportation, recreation, and cultural services. Under our cemetery care fund, this fund is increased by $3,780 and has a balance of $82,722 in 2015. And finally, we have the Sun Bowl surplus of $30,567 for 2015. So our implications for your community: financial accountability to the community. Under organizational, financial accountability to council and staff. Under significant dates, financial statement must be approved and sent to the Ministry of Community, Sport and Cultural Development by the statutory deadline of May 16th. And the options before council is for council to approve the Town of Osoyoos and Sun Bowl Arena audited financial statements as presented. And at this time, I'd like to call up our auditors from White Kennedy to provide the audit opinions of the Town of Osoyoos and Sun Bowl Arena.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to the Mayor and Council of the Corporation of the Town of Osoyoos. We have audited the consolidated statement of financial position of the Corporation of the Town of Osoyoos as at December 31st, 2015, and the consolidated statements of operations, the consolidated statement of change and net financial assets, the consolidated statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the consolidated statements present fairly in all material respects the consolidated financial position of the Corporation of the Town of Osoyoos as at December 31st, 2015, and the results of its consolidated operations, its consolidated changes in net assets, and its consolidated cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the Canadian Public Sector Accounting Standards. To the directors of the Osoyoos Sun Bowl Arena. We have audited the statement of financial position of the Osoyoos Sun Bowl Arena as at December 31st, 2015, the statement of financial operations for the year then ended, and a summary of the significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the Osoyoos Sun Bowl Arena as at December 31st, 2015, and the results of its operations, its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the Canadian Public Sector Accounting Standards.
Thank you very much. So it sounds like our books are in order.
All in order. Yeah, very good.
Good. Council, did you have any questions or concerns? Okay, so we have a motion. A recommendation for council to approve the Town of Osoyoos and Sun Bowl Arena audited financial statements as presented. Do we thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Youngberg. No comments? Thank you very much. We think you've done a great job. All in favor? Good. Thank you so much for coming down and presenting that to us. This will also be, and thank you, Mr. Zackel, this will also be presented in some form at the June meeting, our annual meeting. Is that correct? There will.
The audited financial statements will be included with the annual report.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay. Next is, and I know that we have to go on to water matters, but I neglected to say something about the banner that we have in front, and I'd like to say something now. I apologize. We've had it here all morning, so thank you, ladies. We've had it here all morning, and I kind of forgot it was there. This is a lovely banner that the students and at the Osoyoos Secondary made for all of us in the town of Osoyoos to thank everybody for their resolve, their passion, their putting in time and money and efforts and going to meetings, and just saying thank you to everybody for supporting the Osoyoos Secondary School, and we're just thrilled to have it here. So that's why it's here in the front, and it's going to be put up at the Sun Bowl Arena. So we'll be, not the Sun Bowl, the Sonora Center. We'll be giving it to Mr. Davis to find a home for. So just wanted to explain why it was there, and we're very happy to have it here. So next on our list is water matters, and this would be Osoyoos Water District rates and regulations. Mr. Romanko.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Osoyoos District rates and regulations bylaw 1241 and amendments. Council passed 3 readings of this amended bylaw at its April 18th meeting. This bylaw provides domestic watering restrictions for irrigation districts 8 and 9. This bylaw amendment provides water conservation restriction levels that start with dedicated domestic watering days for even and odd-numbered residences. The attached bylaw provides for the following watering schedule. Odd-numbered houses would water on Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. Even-numbered houses would water on Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. This schedule will enable a smooth transition to Level 1 water restrictions in the event there is a need to implement Stage 1 twice-a-week watering. In terms of implications from the community, water restrictions will be similar in both the town and the rural areas serviced by irrigation districts 8 and 9. Organizationally, a water ambassador will be hired to assist with education and information sharing related to these new water restrictions. Budget, $20,000 has been budgeted for 2016. Costs will include advertising, educational materials, operating costs, and staffing. And the significant dates for the education period would be May 2nd to August 31st. The goal is to decrease water use through restricted watering days and increased education. In terms of options, option number 1, Council adopts the Osoyoos Water District Rates and Regulations Amendment Bylaw number 1241.09, 2016. The second option, Council makes amendments and rereads the bylaw. Option 3, Council delays adoption of the bylaw. And the administration recommends option number 1. The bylaw will become law as of today, and enforcement will be targeted for approximately May 23rd.
Thank you very much. Could you read again the odd numbers and even numbers? The odd number, I think you said a Saturday in there instead of a Sunday. So odd number is Sunday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
That isn't what you said.
Oh.
Did I hear it wrong? Brianne looked at you.
You heard it wrong.
I heard, okay. So, because I know I just timed mine. Mine is Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
Well, you better get it right.
I have it right now, finally. And even number is Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, right?
Yep.
Everybody got that? I just want to make sure that our reporters have that correct for the paper. Thank you. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I'll move option 1.
I'll second.
Seconded. Any other discussion about this? All in favor? Thank you very much. That was unanimous. Next is the correspondence? Is there any correspondence? No. I've got too many places to look here. Water matters, correspondence, none. So we're now on to bylaws. And the first bylaw is the 2016 Osoyoos tax rates bylaw. Mr. Zackel.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. So this is to update the tax rates bylaw for 2016 with the due date being July 4th. The 2016 Osoyoos tax rates bylaw is in line with the 5-year financial plan and includes a 1.97% increase in property taxes. The budget for municipal tax revenue is $2,289,788. Municipal fire protection is $230,852, and municipal general debt is $34,700. This bylaw received first 3 readings at the April 18th, 2016 regular open meeting of council. The town of Osoyoos is also responsible for collecting and remitting taxes for other taxing authorities, which include the following: school, hospital, RCMP, Regional District of Okanagan-Smilkameen, Okanagan Regional Library, BC Assessment Authority, and Municipal Finance Authority. An average assessment for a single-family residence is $334,996. This average resident will pay $607.76 in their municipal portion of taxes. An average assessment for a business class other is $250,289, and an average business would pay $751.06 for the municipal portion of taxes. The tax rates bylaw must be adopted by May 13th as per section 197.1 of the Community Charter. Under implications of community, continue operation and enhancement of the municipality. Organizationally, no changes. Under budget, Osoyoos tax rates bylaw is in line with the 5-year financial plan bylaw. Significant dates. Tax rate bylaw needs to be adopted no later than May 13th. Sustainability, working to ensure maintaining levels of service for the community and financial sustainability of the town. Options before council: to adopt Osoyoos tax rates bylaw 1320-2016. Option 2, to rescind third reading and make changes. And option 3, to delay adoption. The recommendation by staff is option number 1. The tax rates bylaw is in line with the 5-year financial plan bylaw and needs to be adopted no later than May 13th as legislated by the Community Charter.
Thank you, Mr. Zackel. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I'll move option number 1.
Councillor Youngberg. I think we've gone through this sufficiently that we probably know what we're voting on. Anybody all in favor of the motion? Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just curious, when we collect money from other departments, say the school or hospital, what time frame do we have to submit that money to them?
That money is, again, it's by legislation. We have to remit that money by August 1st. So it gives us ample time to collect the funds with our due date being July 4th. And it's the same thing with the RDOS, in turn transferring funds to us for the Sun Bowl Arena. Okay. Through their taxing jurisdiction. We receive their funding August 1st as well.
Okay. All in favor of the motion? Thank you very much. That's carried. Cemetery bylaw. And that's you again, Mr. Zackel. Thank you.
Yes. The town of Osoyoos operates the Osoyoos Lakeview Cemetery under Bylaw 1236. This bylaw was established in 2007 with a CPI adjustment factor built in to annually adjust the rates. Bylaw 1319 is replacing Bylaw 1236 and is adding 2 new charges. Fees and forms have also been updated. Cemetery Bylaw 1319-2016 is being brought forward for Council's consideration. This bylaw received first 3 readings at the April 18th, 2016 regular meeting of Council. The changes to Bylaw 1236 include adding a charge for cremated double depth, adding a charge for reinstallation of memorials, updating Schedule B for the fees and charges, and updating Schedule C internment application form. Operational Services compiled the cemetery fees and charges from neighboring communities as referenced in the attached schedule. These fees and charges were reviewed and a revised bylaw was amended. The recommended rates are the higher of the current rates at the Osoyoos Lakeville Cemetery or the average based on the surveyed municipalities. These changes will result in an estimated increase of $4,550 annually. In addition, the CPI adjustment factor remains in this bylaw to ensure rates are adjusted annually. These increased rates will assist in funding of new developments at the Osoyoos Cemetery, such as the columbarium. Implications under the community. Ensures users of the cemetery pay for the service and it's not funded through taxation. Organizationally, no changes organizationally. Under budget, these changes will result in an increase of revenue of $4,550 annually. Significant dates, no changes can be made to the fees and charges until the bylaw is adopted. And a bylaw would come forward for the May 2nd meeting for consideration of adoption. Sustainability, to ensure financial sustainability of the Osoyoos Lakeview Cemetery. And the options before council: to adopt Cemetery Bylaw 1319-2016. Option 2, to rescind third reading and make further amendments. Option 3, to maintain existing Bylaw 1236. And a recommendation from staff is option number 1, making these changes to the town cemetery bylaw brings the fees and charges in line with neighboring municipalities and also addresses some areas where charges should be occurring for work being performed by our operational services staff.
Thank you very much. Could I have a motion? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Youngberg. Any comments about this? I think we've talked about this before, and we certainly appreciate the fact that it's been updated since 2007, so this is the first time. All in favor of this bylaw? Thank you very much. Councillor Youngberg, you're okay with that? Okay, good. Okay, that was carried. The next is the Municipal Ticket Information Amendment Bylaw. Ms. Van Vienen.
Thank you. Council gave final adoption to Osoyoos Water District Rates and Regulations Amendment Bylaw number 124109-2016 and will be giving final adoption or considering final adoption to Water Conservation and Stage Restriction Amendment Bylaw 127301-2016 at this regular open meeting. These bylaws set watering restrictions for the rural and town water systems. Municipal Ticket Information Bylaw number 1279 sets out fines associated with infractions under several town bylaws. With the adoption of the Water Amendment Bylaws, we must now set fines to coincide with the water restrictions in order to ticket violators under the bylaws. Schedule 22 is being amended to change the restrictions from normal to stage 5 to normal to stage 4. The previous fine started at $50 for normal, leading up to $1,000 for stage 5s. The fines for violating normal restrictions has been moved to the previous stage 1 fine of $100, and the rest have moved up accordingly. Schedule 19 adds the failure to obey restrictions under Section 6.2 of the Bylaw 1241. The fines proposed are the same as what is being proposed for the town violations. It also changes reference to the section numbers in Column 2 to coincide with the renumbering as proposed in Amendment Bylaw 124109. Implications for the community: ability to enforce the water restrictions on violators. Organizationally, enforcement time. No impact to the budget, there is no significant dates, and under sustainability to ensuring a fine amount is attached to regulatory bylaws for enforcement purposes. The options are that Municipal Ticket Information Amendment Bylaw number 127909-2016 be read a first, second, and third time, or that it be sent back to staff for further review, or 3, that it be abandoned. Staff recommend option 1. The water councillors are also required to vote on this bylaw as the fines set out in Schedule 19 are related to water district infractions.
Thank you. Will this information be put on the town website?
Yes.
I think it might be.
Once the bylaw is adopted.
Yes, once it's adopted, Mr. Amenko, does that make sense?
Yeah, we'll have a lot of information related to the whole staged days of watering, and we'll include information on what the fines are.
Okay, thank you very much.
I move option 1.
Okay, and you're seconding that, Councillor Ray? All right, all in favor of this? Thank you. That's passed. Thank you. And now water restriction and staged restriction amendment bylaw, Mr. Romanko.
Okay, Water Conservation and Stage Restriction Amendment Bylaw number 1273.01/2016. Council passed 3 readings of this amended bylaw at its April 18th meeting. This bylaw provides changed domestic watering restrictions for residences within the town boundary. This bylaw eliminates daily outside domestic watering and implements a system of designated watering days. The attached bylaw provides for the following watering schedule. Odd-numbered houses would water on Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Even-numbered houses would water on Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. This schedule will enable a smooth transition to Level 1 water restrictions in the event there is a need to implement Stage 1 twice-a-week watering. In terms of implications, water restrictions will be similar in both the town and the rural area serviced by the Irrigation District 8 and 9. Organizational, the water ambassador will be hired with education and information sharing related to these new water restrictions. Budget $20,000 has been budgeted for in 2016. Costs will include advertising, education materials, operating costs, and staffing. And this ambassador will be working from May 2nd to August 31st. The goal is to decrease water use through restricted watering days and increased education. The options before council, there's 3 of them. The first being council adopts Water Conservation and Stage Restriction Amendment Bylaw number 1273.01 2016. 2, council makes amendments and rereads the bylaw. 3, council delays adoption of the bylaw. Administration recommends option number 1. The bylaw will become law as of today, and enforcement will be targeted for May 23rd.
Thank you. And I believe the water ambassador was in the building the other day, a nice young man. Would you like to tell a little bit about that? I think.
All I know is that he's a graduate of the high school here in town, a local fellow, and that he's studying biology at I think UBC. Good. And so. Yes, it should be a good summer for him.
I think so, and he's going to do quite a bit of education, talking to people, giving out information, and checking to make sure if people understand the bylaws and the restrictions, and following up if there's a problem. Is that correct? Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I'll move option number 1.
Could we have a seconder for that, please? Thank you. Councillor King, Councillor Rhodes, Councillor King. All in favor? Thank you. This is really just a repeat of the last one, so it's we've already agreed to this. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is a report, an OCP amendment bylaw 1230.15 and a zoning amendment bylaw. So our senior planner, Dilla Swang, will take us through this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So the purpose of this report is to request that Council gives first and second readings to the attached Official Community Plan Amendments Bylaw number 1230.15, 2016, and Zoning Amendments Bylaw number 1085.94, 2016. And the applicant proposes to amend the OCP designation from HR High Density Residential to LR Low Density Residential, and to rezone the subject property from R7 High Density Residential to R3 Low Density Residential in order to facilitate the future subdivision of 18 duplex lots. So in terms of site description, the subject property is municipally addressed as 8316 92nd Avenue, and the site has an approximate total area of 2.58 hectares. As shown on the property location and aerial maps, so the property location map here, the property is located on the north side of 92nd Avenue between 87th Street and Braeburn Place. It is bordered by the regional districts of Okanagan-Similkameen, RDOS, to the west and the south here. And it is also located within 800 meters of 2 provincial controlled access highways, being Highway number 3 and Highway number 97. In terms of land uses that surround the subject property, they include to the north here, there are single-family dwellings along Braeburn Place. To the east, there are single-family dwellings along Braeburn Place and 92nd Avenue here. To the south, there is an institutional building on the corner here, which is Elks Lodge. And there are a few single-family dwellings that are within the RDOS along 87th Street. And to the west, there are agricultural lands also belonging to the RDOS. The subject property was formerly a gravel pit and is currently vacant apart from some vegetation. There are slopes along the eastern, southern, and western perimeters of the parcel, so around here. In terms of the proposed development, previously a development permit application for a multifamily development consisting of 109 townhouse units on the subject property was approved by council in 2009, and this was subsequently amended and approved in 2010. However, the development permit has since expired. Due to various factors such as local market conditions and construction costs, the applicant now wishes to subdivide the property and develop 18 duplexes, consisting of 36 dwelling units in total. As a result, the OCP and the zoning bylaw need to be amended in order to facilitate the proposed development. So here, as shown on this preliminary subdivision design plan, the 18 duplex parcels will be oriented along a proposed no-through internal road here, which will be designed and constructed to municipal standards. Access to the proposed subdivision will be near the cul-de-sac at the end of Brayburn Place here. The perimeter slopes will be located at the rear of the parcels behind a retaining wall constructed at the toe of the slopes. So around here. And a geotechnical assessment has been conducted by Able Geotechnical that evaluates and provides more information with respect to various geotechnical considerations for the proposed residential development. A copy of the assessment is attached to this report. Prior to subdivision approval, a geotechnical covenant will be placed on each of the proposed lots. In terms of servicing for the proposed development, any off-site servicing improvements in addition to on-site servicing requirements will be determined in consultation with True Consulting, the town's engineer. Moving on to policy discussion, so looking at the OCP. In the OCP, the subject property is currently designated HR High Density Residential, which is characterized by multifamily development, including row houses or medium-rise apartments, which are up to 3 stories, or higher-rise apartments, which are 4 stories and higher. Since the proposed development consisting of duplex dwellings is not consistent with the HR designation, it is proposed that the land use designation of the subject property be amended to LR Low Density Residential, which is the same designation as the nearby existing properties. According to the OCP, the LR designation is characterized by single-family and duplex dwellings. Although downzoning is discouraged, the proposed development is consistent with a number of town residential objectives and policies in the OCP. And these include Objective 9.2.2, which is to facilitate sufficient choices between different housing types, densities, and locations to meet varied and changing market needs. Objective 9.2.4, which is to minimize land use conflicts between existing and new residential development. And Policy 9-14, encourage duplexes as a lower-cost housing option subject to design standards for their harmonious integration into single-family residential neighborhoods. With respect to development permit areas, since the multifamily residential and farming interface development permit areas are applicable, a development permit application will be required. So the subject property is currently zoned R7, High Density Residential, and the applicant proposes to rezone it to R3, Low Density Residential. The R3 zone permits 2 family dwellings or duplexes on lots with a minimum area of 835 square meters and a minimum width of 22 meters. Based on the preliminary subdivision design plan, the lot sizes for the proposed subdivision range between 855 square meters and 2,687 square meters, and this includes any unbuildable sloped areas. Overall, the proposed R3 zone would be compatible with the surrounding land uses and allow the integration of duplex dwellings into the community. It should also be noted that there is a parcel, and the address is 2 Brayburn Place over here. And this is located to the east of the subject property, and it is also zoned R7 and designated HR. In 2003, this parcel, along with the subject property, was redesignated from LR to HR and rezoned from R1 single-family residential to R7 in order to accommodate a gated retirement community consisting of 168 dwelling units. So in terms of implications to the community, the proposed development would promote additional housing types to accommodate different lifestyle and housing preferences. As the proposal involves an OCP bylaw amendment, the town's Land Use Procedures Bylaw number 1235/2007 requires that an applicant at his cost convene an advertised public consultation meeting as well as undertake other possible public consultation methods as needed. Since the proposed development is located within an existing residential neighborhood, a public open house would offer residents the opportunity to ask questions and to find out more about the development. In terms of organizational implications, if Council gives first and second readings to the OCP and zoning amendment bylaws, the application will be forwarded to applicable referral agencies and departments, and this would include the Agricultural Land Commission and the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure for comments. In terms of budget, off-site servicing requirements, such as the upgrading of Brayburn Place from 92nd Avenue, will involve cost sharing between the developer and the town, and this will be determined in consultation with True Consulting. Significant dates. Prior to a public hearing taking place, Planning and Development Services recommends that Council request the applicant at his cost to convene a public open house in accordance with the Land Use Procedures Bylaw. And lastly, in terms of sustainability, the proposed development would contribute to social sustainability by enhancing housing and living opportunities within the community. And the options before Council are, number 1, Council gives first and second readings to Official Community Plan Amendments Bylaw number 1230.15/2016 and Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1085.94/2016, and delegates staff to set dates for a public open house and a public hearing. Option number 2, Council requests any necessary revisions to the amendment bylaws. And option number 3, Council denies giving first and second readings to the amendment bylaws, and the bylaws will be abandoned. And in terms of recommendation, staff recommends option number 1.
Thank you very much. It's a very detailed report, and there are several attachments along with it. So I'm assuming that these need to be looked at, the zoning amendment and the OCP separately. Okay. So, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. So I have a couple of questions, if I could,
Sure.
before we have a motion on the floor. This is a down zoning request, and I often have difficulty with those. I wonder if there's an easy solution or some way you could explain, the purpose of doing that.
Right.
And the concept. So I have another question along with that. The concept drawing of the duplex lots that show the entrance, that one, off of Brayburn. I have some concerns with that. If we go back to the last proposal that was vastly different than this one and the one that expired,
Right.
there was an additional entranceway just directly south of the Elks Lodge area that was going to be kind of cascading down the side of the hill to allow another entrance based on the volume of traffic that would be generated in there. Brayburn Crescent is a quiet residential area that's enjoyed by the residents because of those reasons, and I have a lot of concerns about directing all of the traffic in and out of there. So when it's finally all built out and everybody's living in there and that kind of thing, that really concerns me, because you would actually have to go past at least a couple residents, I think. I'm just going by memory, but certainly the volume of traffic that would be generated just to go into there is a big concern for me as well. And I'm not even sure if that formed a question or a comment, but maybe you could enlighten me a little on it.
So back to your first question in terms of the downzoning, the OCP does not encourage downzoning, but in this case, actually before 2003, this parcel as well as the adjoining parcel to the east, they were zoned R1, single-family residential. And so I guess in 2003, that was when there was an application to rezone it to a much higher density. And so that got approved, but the development never occurred. So right now, the development permit that was in place a couple of years ago, it was for the townhouse development that, a much higher density. But because this site is quite interesting in terms of the way it is laid out, the topography is quite steep. The slopes along the side, they are quite steep, so there are certain constraints to the site in terms of the, buildable area. Yes, but in terms of looking at the surrounding neighborhood and development, it is mostly single-family residential, so single-family dwellings in the area, and having duplex dwellings or two-family dwellings. It would, in terms of neighborhood context, it would match with the existing single-family dwellings in the area right now.
Can I just ask,
Sure.
You've noted that number 2 Brayburn Place, the little piece that sticks out there.
Over here,
and
yes.
I believe that was what, is that, Councillor Rhodes, what you were referring to, that entrance along there? That the thing that sticks. Is there a reason why that has not been included, and what happens to that property now?
So before in 2003, the current subject property, it was actually 2 lots. And at first it was just the subject property that was included by the developer in 2003 for rezoning to R7. During the application process in 2003, this third parcel, so number 2 Brayburn Place, it was added by the developer to the rezoning application. And so this parcel got added, but afterwards, right now, the current owner of the subject property does not own number 2 Brayburn Place. So it is under separate ownership right now.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Rhodes.
Sorry to be problematic about the traffic. The way it's laid out right now, 100% of all of the traffic would go in through the one entrance, which is located on Brayburn.
Right.
Right. Brayburn is a closed area. There is no through traffic at all. And just because it goes past a couple of houses, the impact would be for the full area and all of the residents that are on there. And I do have some concerns. Was there any discussion about that? Or?
There is some discussion with True Consulting, so in terms of off-site upgrades, and that would include, in the discussion, there are, Brayburn Place, there would be off-site upgrades to the road for Brayburn Place, and that is being discussed with True Consulting right now, so there would have to be upgrades made to the road for Brayburn Place.
And a sidewalk or lights or,
There-
yeah.
Yes,
'cause
in
there will have
terms
to be
of
quite a bit.
pavement widening, sidewalk on one side, street lighting, so there would be, so there
Yeah.
would, this, Braeburn Place is quite narrow right now.
Yes.
Yes,
I understand the questions that have been asked, because I do think that the people that live down there who have enjoyed a kind of a quiet, very little traffic
Right.
down that road may have certainly something to say. So I appreciate the fact that there is a public hearing, a public meeting about this,
Right.
where those need to be absolutely addressed, because they will be asked, I'm sure.
If I may
Yeah,
speak,
Dr.
yes,
Cunningham.
it was concerns like those, or expectations that concerns like that could be raised by residents, was the rationale behind holding a public open house before the public hearing, so that people would have the opportunity who live in the area to talk to the developers' representatives and raise their concerns, and either have those concerns satisfactorily dealt with, or feel that in fact something else should be done with. So we are mindful of those concerns, and we've provided the additional opportunity to look at those. In terms of the downzoning, as it were, it should be appreciated that there's two development concepts before this. The first one was exceedingly high density, and the second one was quite high. And it just was untenable for the developers to consider moving ahead with all the expensive works that would be required to fit the buildings in. So perhaps it was overly ambitious at the time to ever consider that it should be R7, and certainly the market doesn't support it in this day and age. So usually we give recommendations against downzoning, but I think in this particular case, staff are just being realistic and looking at the actual nature of the site itself.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any concerns about this? So we're looking for a motion to give first and second reading to the OCP amendment bylaw. Councillor King, a seconder. Councillor Rhodes. And first and second readings just means that we can then proceed to the next step, right?
yes.
Yeah. Councillor Rhodes, did you want to speak to?
Thank you. Well, I'm prepared to support this at this point, but I think it would be very an important part of our due diligence that when we move forward into any kind of public information thing or any kind of public gathering about this, that it be made apparent. Like I would not want to see the residents come up with this problem of access
Right.
and in and out of the property. I would like to see us take the initiative, although I do think that it will be paramount in the decision making from now on,
Right.
and just anybody that's involved in a development should probably be aware of that right from the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because there's no doubt that we would be interrupting a very, very quiet lifestyle in that area. So
Yes.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded that we give first and second reading to the OCP amendment bylaw. All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. The next motion that is needed is the zoning amendment bylaw. Someone like to make a motion on that one? No? Jim, are you making a motion for the zoning?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And Councillor Rhodes is seconding that. Any concerns about this one? All in favor? Thank you. And the third motion that's needed, I believe, is that a public hearing date be set. Has that been?
Well, it won't, there would be, we are suggesting that the public open house be held prior to the public hearing, so that if there are any questions or comments or concerns, from the residents, that they can be brought forth at the open house before we hold a public hearing.
So, a public open house.
Public open house.
Does that has that been set up yet, or?
No.
I'm suggesting that there's a motion here to look at that. So, I'm just wondering if, will you come back with that then? That will be in
Yes.
the future, or we're not setting that up today?
Well, right now, we'd like council support to request the developer at his cost to convene a public
Open house.
Open house.
Okay, fair enough. Councillor Rhodes.
Sorry, I don't have the exact wording, but I would like to make that motion.
Okay, so it's not the one that's written here. It's just that the owner of the property set up a public open house at his cost, and he would then pay for notification in the paper. He would let us know that all of those expenses. Okay. So you're making that motion. Councillor King is seconding that. Is there any other discussion about this? All in favor? Thank you. Did you have something else?
I was just going to
Okay.
suggest that we leave the public hearing part done until that's, is that appropriate, or?
Yes, you
Yes,
did
it would be.
changed it to an open house for now.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, we're okay with that one. Thank you very much. The next one is a report on the zoning amendment bylaw, number 1085, addition of craft distillery as a permitted use. And that is Ms. Wang, please.
All right, thank you. So the purpose of this report is to request that council adopts the attached zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.95 2016, which includes the following text amendments: adding a definition for craft distillery, adding craft distillery as a permitted use in the M3 special industrial zone, permitting a craft distillery in the C1, C3, and C4 commercial zones, and amending Schedule 1 off-street parking. And these amendments that form part of this bylaw were initiated after Planning and Development Services received a zoning bylaw amendments application from Tumbleweed Spirits seeking to add craft distillery as a permitted use for the property addressed as Unit 7, 6001 Lakeshore Drive. Council gave first and second readings to the bylaw on February 15th, 2016, and then proceeded to a public hearing on March 21st, 2016. During the public hearing, some members of the public expressed concerns, such as the notification process of the proposed zoning amendment bylaw, potential fungus, fumes, and odors generated by distilleries, the location of the proposed craft distillery, fire safety, parking and traffic, and servicing impacts. In light of additional information provided to staff in order to address the questions raised, a second public hearing was held on April 25th, 2016. And a copy of the minutes are available in today's agenda package. A special open meeting immediately followed the second public hearing on the same day, during which Council gave a third reading to the bylaw. A copy of the April 25th, 2016 public hearing and special open meeting report is attached, which offers findings and details on how the concerns were addressed. In terms of implications to the community, the proposed craft distillery use would enhance the tourism industry, broaden economic opportunities, and promote a mix of uses in the community. Organizational. The senior building inspector will be working with the applicants on the building permit process following the final approval of the zoning bylaw amendments. Budget. There are no further financial implications anticipated at this time. Significant dates. The BC Liquor Control and Licensing Branch has already granted an amended approval in principle for the applicant's proposed distillery manufacturing facility on April 14th, 2016. And sustainability, the proposed use would contribute to economic sustainability by diversifying the range of businesses and new opportunities. And the options are: number 1, Council adopts zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.95 2016, And option number 2, council does not adopt zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.95 2016. And the recommendation is option number 1.
Thank you very much. Council, anybody like to make a motion on this? Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I'll make a motion, option number 1.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Youngberg. I'd just like to say thank you to senior planners Huang and Alain, Director Cunningham, for taking this to for looking at it very carefully, for doing all of looking at all the recommended motions and suggestions at the first public meeting, and having a second one and answering all of those. So I think it was very well handled. Thank you very much. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. If I could just piggyback on that comment a little bit. Thank you very much. And I wanted to mention to anybody that's listening to this about the power of engagement when you come to these kind of things. Many of the residents in that particular area had very, very specific concerns and were very good and came down and told us all about them. And just because you ask or suggest that there should be changes does not mean that you always get them. But certainly in this particular case, there was changes based on public pressure. And I just wanted to mention that when you have concerns about things in your neighborhood and things are happening, if you want, you are always welcome to come down and talk to us about it, either through council or through our planning department, and they can be very powerful and very effective. So I just thought it would be a good time to bring that up, and good for you guys and how you handled all of those concerns, because there was some very, very serious ones, and each and every one of them was addressed in one way or another.
Good, thank you. So was it moved and seconded? Thank you very much. All in favor of this? Thank you very much. That's carried. Next is the Council Campbell, a meeting report, and there's the Mayor's meeting report. It's very interesting that Councillor Campbell's 4 dates that he was there are not the same as the 4 dates that I was, and in fact we were both there exactly the same time. So I think it was from the 19th to the 22nd, and I've got the 23rd, and Councillor Campbell's got the 20th to the 23rd. So in fact we were there 19, 20, 21, and 22. So we apologize for that. Could we have somebody move the, thank you. Can we do both of them at once? Okay, thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor King, all in favor? Thank you. So next is the Little Free Libraries, Communities for Kids, Success by 6. Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A little bit lighter material to delve into. The Communities for Kids local chapter is interested in developing a Little Free Library program in Osoyoos. The Little Free Library is a program where books are made available to children 0 to 6 years of age as they play at the park. This is a program that has been established in other communities such as OK Falls and Penticton and have done very well. Research has shown that literacy and physical needs of children are vital to their development. The local chapter, through the Communities for Kids, has garnered funding through the South Okanagan Children's Charity chapter and has been successful in getting some items donated. If Council approves this program, the local chapter is willing to supply the books and monitor the program. They would like to implement this program specifically at Lions Park and the Splash Park. It's a great opportunity for the town to partner with the Communities for Kids and Success by 6 group and bring a unique program to our community. In terms of implications for the community, it's an excellent opportunity to partner with Communities for Kids group to increase the physical literacy and physical opportunities for our children. organizational, regular maintenance of the parks, and installation of the pad as part of the Memorial Bench program was requested. In terms of budget, a South Okanagan Children's Charity Grant, the installation of this program in various park locations may be contingent on the amount of funding provided. Significant dates, they would like to do this ASAP, starting in the spring and complete by early summer. In terms of sustainability, sustaining growth and development of youth by providing educational and physical options. The options before council: number 1, approve the Little Free Libraries program with the Communities for Kids group with installation at the Splash Park and the Lions Park. Option 2, approve the Little Free Libraries program with the Communities for Kids group in another location. And option 3, do not approve this type of program in our parks at this time. Staff is recommending option 1, and this is a great opportunity to bring a fun and unique program to Osoyoos. Obviously, the funding that is available through the grant will dictate how we proceed if council approves the concept.
Thank you very much. I see that in the write-up that we have about it, that a bench is looked at as well. Is it, and you've asked for a pad to be put in at that time, is it possible for people who in town who come and ask for a bench to be put up in their say a relative's honor, could they offer to put in the bench there and put a plaque on the side, or is this going to be specific to?
This would be specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's a great idea. Yes, Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess my one question, since it's kind of driven by the library, it sounds, and the nonprofit group, why does the school get the obligation or the opportunity to design the boxes?
I think it's just an opportunity for the children to take part in this as part of the mandate through the Communities for Kids, to help delete or keep people in that 0 to 6 age group busy. I think that's why they were invited to do that.
Well, as a school librarian, I think it's a great idea. So.
I agree.
And as a member of the library, Okanagan Regional Library Board, I think. Absolutely. Would you like to make a motion then that we?
Sure.
Okay.
I will.
Option 1?
Option 1, approve the Little Free Libraries program with the Communities for Kids group with installation of the bench at the Splash Park and Lions Park and the pad. Bench and pad.
So the pad at this time, but not necessarily the bench. It depends on the money. Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Could somebody second that, please? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much. Okay, they can get busy. I know Maureen Potter mentioned this to me, and I think she's on that group.
Yes,
so
that's correct, yeah.
We can tell her that she can get busy and get that organized. Okay.
The money for the bench.
Next is the Bylaw Enforcement Officer appointment. Ms. Van Vienen.
Thank you. In order for bylaw enforcement officers to have the authority to act as bylaw enforcement officers and write tickets under the Municipal Ticketing Information Bylaw, Council must pass a resolution to appoint the bylaw enforcement officers for the town for the purpose of enforcing town bylaws. Since the town entered into the new contract with DeLoe Enforcement Services on January 1st, 2016, even though the same officers are returning, it is always good practice to reappoint to make it clear who has authority to issue tickets. To clear up any misunderstandings of who may still be appointed, it is being recommended that all past appointments be rescinded and that Council appoint the following as bylaw enforcement officers: Patricia Marshall, Shiloh Liver, Katie Church, Adrian Wykeen, Richard Moninger, and Emerald Lutz. These bylaw officers are required to have a current criminal record check with the local RCMP. The Director of Corporate Services, along with the RCMP, will be meeting with these officers on May the 10th to discuss expectations and processes. Under implications for the community, bylaw officer resources, organizationally, no budget impacts. As significant dates, as soon as the appointments are made, the officers can officially issue tickets under the MTI bylaw. Sustainability, ensuring the bylaws of the town are enforced as required. Options: 1, that all previous appointments of bylaw enforcement officers made by council be rescinded, and that Patricia Marshall, Shiloh Liver, Katie Church, Adrian Wykeen, Emerald Lutz, and Richard Moninger be appointed bylaw enforcement officers under Section 36 of the Police Act, RSBC Chapter 367, for the purposes of enforcing of municipal bylaws for the town of Osoyoos. Or 2, that only, and you can choose which bylaw officers you want to appoint, and staff recommend option 1.
Thank you very much. Councillor Youngberg.
Thank you. I'd like to make the motion for number 1.
Thank you. Could we have a seconder?
A long motion, so you can just retype it.
And Councillor King has seconded the motion. Any comments? All in favor? Thank you very much. I think that looks like a good group of people, and they're familiar with what's going on down there, and so I think that'll be good.
One question: when do they begin? When does the contract start?
It actually started in January. They're starting their additional hours, started in April. However, their park enforcement will be starting up in May, June. But however, because of the nice weather, we're already experiencing some issues down in the park, so we may ramp up that enforcement a little earlier.
Just why I was asking.
Thank you. Did we vote on that? Yes, okay. Thank you. And next is the application to renew license of occupation, and that would be Director of Operational Services, Mr. Dinwiddie.
Thank you, Mayor Kordoff. This, as I said, is an application to renew our license of occupation, license number 341810. So the town of Osoyoos was recently informed that our license of occupation for the following property has expired. The legal description of these crown lands is that part of Lot 986, the District Lot 2450S, Plan 18452, together with part of District Lot 2450S, Similkameen Division of Yale District, containing 1.4 hectares, more or less. This area is located just off of Golf Course Drive beside Desert Park and is typically called the Sand Pits. The town of Osoyoos currently utilizes this area for stormwater management retention when heavy rainfall events occur in the Dividend Ridge subdivision. When extreme rainfall occurs in this area, the water is collected in the stormwater sewer system and directed toward this area where it is allowed to pool and eventually infiltrate into the ground. The implications for the community are that exceptionally heavy rainfall events will be safely processed without causing any inconvenience to residents. Organizationally, the Operational Services Department will be able to continue to maintain proper stormwater management in the Dividend Ridge subdivision. For the budget, the fee to apply to the Ministry of Forests, Lands, and Natural Resource Operations for a replacement tenure is $211.05. Significant dates: in order to continue to effectively deal with the forecasted storm events which typically occur in June of the year, the license of occupation for this property should be signed as soon as possible. Sustainability: the Operational Services Department will be able to efficiently and effectively manage extreme rainfall events in the Dividend Ridge area. The options for council are that council approve entering into an agreement to renew license of occupation number 341810 with the province of British Columbia, and that the authorized signatories for the town be authorized to sign the agreement. Option number 2 is that council does not approve entering into the agreement to renew license of occupation 341810 with the province of British Columbia. Or option number 3 is that council requests additional information prior to making a decision. The recommendation of administration is that council adopt option number 1.
Thank you very much. How often do we have to renew this? Is it for only 1 year? Or
No, this is for the next 30 years.
Oh.
So
Well.
our license of occupation was originally for a 10-year period.
Oh.
But when we renew it this time, it'll be for 30 years.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Councillor Rhodes.
I'll move option number 1.
Thank you. Councillor Youngberg.
I have a question.
Yeah. And seconded it. And Councillor Rhodes.
Is there a possibility we could get turned down? Is that an option, or?
Probably not. No.
Probably not, yeah. I have some concerns. I think there's some sewer sludge sausages underground up there, and I was wondering about those.
I don't believe there's anything, I don't think there's any sausages underground there. I understand that years and years ago there may have been some sludge that was buried in that location, but I don't think it's the actual geotubes or anything like that. But that was a long time ago. I'm assuming that the waste has disappeared into the ground by now, so.
My apologies for using the word sausage.
No worries.
We know what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? All in favor of this motion? Thank you very much. Next is the Small Communities Grant Fund application, reapplication. Mr. Manko.
Thank you. At a previous meeting, Council passed a motion to enable an application to the Building Canada Fund Small Communities Grant in the amount of $2.293 million. And this was to enable the construction of a new sewer lift station. This above-noted application was denied by the province, and a subsequent announcement was made for another intake of projects into the program. Terry Underwood and Jim Zacko followed up with the funders to receive feedback on how our project application could be improved. Terry Underwood has integrated the recommendations into the new application. The application deadline was April 29th, so the application was submitted electronically on the 29th. The grant application requires a resolution and identified sources of matching funding to complete the application. So that should meet requires a council resolution of support. This project is part of our 5-year approved capital plan and was approved by council for funding in 2016. In terms of community, the sewer main lift handles 85% of the community's sewer flow and pumps it up to the lagoons. This is a vital part of our community infrastructure that is in need of replacement. Organizationally, current lift station is identified for minor repairs to ensure worker safety. Needed budget amounts have been approved by council. The application deadline was April 29th. 2 options are being presented for council. The first one being council directs the administration to make application to the Building Canada Fund Small Communities Fund prior to the program application deadline of so I just took the we just need an application, a resolution of support for this project to enable the sewer lift station upgrade project, and furthermore that the grant amount be requested be $2.293,333 and that $1.146 million $667 be allocated from the sewer operating and reserve fund for a total project cost of $3.44 million. Second option is to direct the administration to pull the application from the grant program, and the administration recommends option number 1.
Thank you very much. Councillor Younger and Councillor King.
Make the motion, number 1.
Second.
Thank you. This had been applied for before and it was turned down. It's definitely something that's high on our list of what's needed. So absolutely, we agree you need to put in the application again. All in favor? Thank you very much. Notice of motion. No notices of motion. Next is the general net payroll and Sun Bowl Arena financial accounts. In the background is to review a report on expenditures from accounts payable for council approval and payroll information for council to receive. General cash requirements in the amount of up to date of May the 2nd, 2016. Representing balances in the following funds in the amounts $1,527,164.07 and Sunbowl cash requirements of $13,186.37, and those would be adopted by consensus. And net payroll accounts of $72,987.12, and that is received for information. Next are committee reports, and I don't think there are any committee reports, so next is the CIO's report.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a few of the activities that the staff have been involved in over the last couple of weeks, starting in community services. Staff are setting up a meeting between the tennis club and the pickleball committee to discuss outdoor courts for pickleball. We have discussed the possibility of painting the outdoor basketball courts adjacent to the tennis courts and use it as a multi-facility area. The Bike to Work is approaching, and we will be part of the events. Information and e-news will be out shortly. It's scheduled from May 30th to June 5th. And the Sun Bowl Arena will be closing for its annual maintenance on Sunday, May 8th, and the arena will be closed for approximately 6 to 8 weeks. In corporate services, work continues on the annual report. They've had a meeting with the funding partners regarding the future transit, future expansion. Also a meeting with provincial representatives for the Victim Services Program. And as mentioned earlier, a bylaw officers meeting, RCMP and staff will be occurring next week to discuss protocols and procedures during the spring-summer busy season. Also dealing with a large Freedom of Information request. Unsightly property complaints are on the increase. In terms of, there were several hirings in these held for the student position of the environmental stewardship, and that is, as I mentioned earlier, a gentleman by the name of Shiraz Breyer was a successful candidate, and he'll be starting May 2nd. Also, interviews were held for the labor, municipal facilities caretaker, and we'll have 2 staff starting in those positions in the beginning of May. That would be Mr. Larry Day and Mitchell Younger. Also, there will be shortlisting for the student works students this week. And the postings for the community services students close on May 4th. In finance has been busy with payroll and property tax courses and reviewing cemetery information, year-end reporting, review of the budget numbers to the actual and property tax preparation. Planning and development, staff is continuing to advocate the proposal presented to council on April 18th, to advance the proposal presented to council on April 18th for mixed housing and commercial development on the old golf course at 4217 Lakeshore Drive. An engineering meeting is being held on May 4th to look at more information. In terms of public works, 74th Avenue reconstruction, 89th to 85th. All the curb, sidewalks, drainage have been installed, and paving is scheduled to take place this week. 74th reconstruction, 85th to Main. Everything is all in, and landscaping is scheduled to be complete by May 6th. The fire hall off-site services are being installed as we speak. The Kinsman Wall, beach wall replacement, pedestrian access at Gyro Park is complete. The all the public works washrooms will be opened as of April 15th. The operational service crews are repairing drainage issues at the splash park, and that'll be done by May 13th. The band shell was being completed, the painting of it was being completed, and the volunteers were looking at painting the front of it. A number of places were dust controlled last week. Directional signs for the splash park have been installed, and trees along Main Street have been sprayed twice to control aphids, and that's all that's happening in public works. That's myself been working with school closure follow-ups. Most of our management crew went to a very interesting workshop in Kelowna on values-based leadership, including how not to let our values influence all the bylaws and the consultations we do with council, and also a discussion on visitor services here in town, water regulation changes, and also reviewing the rural dividend program and potential options for application. So that's what's happening over in the administration.
Thank you very much. So we need a motion to accept the CAO's report. Thank you. That would be Rhodes and King. All in favor? Thank you. Can I ask one question? And maybe I'm not sure whether it's you or Mr. Dinwiddie. This would be flowers and plantings along Main Street. Is that coming up sometime soon, or?
Yeah, we get most of our flowers and stuff like that from Paul's greenhouse, and they aren't quite ready yet, but they should be ready shortly.
Okay, good.
So I believe sometime this week we're scheduling the plantings to occur.
They always look beautiful when they're in, so that's why I was asking. Okay, next it would be councillor reports, and first is Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's been a busy last couple of weeks, first with the SILGA, which is the Southern Interior Local Government Initiative on the 19th and 22nd, where some of us attended some great workshops and learned how we can do a better job as council, plus also set through a whole policy day of ideas and thoughts to move forward to the provincial government, which was interesting. Also attended Destination Osoyoos as the town's representative on economic development, where they finalized their strategy for the next 5 years and made a presentation this morning. Also attended the Refugee Project Committee open house on Sunday, last Sunday, representing the town, and to see over 100 people there that actually put some type of time or effort into making this a reality. The smiles on the faces of the family that are here, Mohammed, Aya, Fatina, and Sumer, are just ecstatic to be here, learning English and moving forward. They couldn't say thank you enough to the people in that room. The other things that were attended by a few of us, in fact all of us, was the school budget last Tuesday. There was 40 or 50 people in attendance. I felt very strongly there was some great ideas come forward. They did have some discussion. They took some notes. It didn't seem to have an impact on the next day when we attended the vote to open or close the school, but they did say they're still working on their budget to move forward by the end of June. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've covered a lot of things over the last couple of weeks. Councillor Youngberg.
Yes, thanks, Mayor McCordoff. Well, pretty similar little agenda to Councillor King as far as the school closure is concerned in the budget. And none of us are very happy about the end result. However, we're moving on, and I continue to be a part of the Osoyoos Independent Committee. And we have proceeded with in-depth research for facility and a partnership agreement, and I'm sure some of the members will resolve that before too long. I'd just like to thank everybody in the community for really supporting the Daffodil Dash and all of the yellow boxes that were out and all the contributions that have been taken in exchange for the little daffodils. Thank you to everyone who participated. The joust at Desert Park on the May long weekend, we're in high gear, I should say. I say we, and I'm certainly not in high gear, but they are. They are to bring that event to town. And so if they're around asking for support, please try and support them. This will be the first time Osoyoos has hosted this event, and they are telling me there's travelers and participants from Quebec and Oregon and all over the place, so I think it's going to be an exciting long weekend. And they are looking for vendors. If you're selling anything, promoting anything, have some food ideas, please get a hold of Patty Had, and she's in the paper and also on the Desert Park website. She would really be happy about that. That's my report for today.
Thank you. Councillor Youngberg, which days are those on? I know it's the 21st, which is a busy day. Is it for 22nd and the 23rd as well?
Saturday, Sunday, and
Monday.
half of Monday.
Okay, and it's all up at Desert Park.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you very much.
Using our wonderful new bleachers.
Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I do not have very much to report. Unlike the rest of council and our mayor, I did not attend SILGA. But, somebody's got to sign the checks and run the town, and it was my turn, so I stayed behind to do that. Fully engaged in the school closure process over the last, seems like years, but it's only been a couple of months, 2.5 months now. And I just wanted to mention perhaps a positive note in how our community has come together for this. I mean, I know that's a statement of the obvious. But at the end of the day, when people approach you and thank you for your involvement and do things, you can't say enough about how meaningful that is, because you know that they're hurting as well, and their sadness levels are high, and that helpless feeling is very much a part of their lives as well. And over the last couple of weeks, and particularly since the saddest of all of the events last week when the final vote was taken, many people have approached me and thanked me, not me personally so much, but for what mayor and council and all of the other people that have been engaged and have really done. And I don't know why I'm the recipient of those of that gratitude, but certainly I wanted to pass it on to our community about how appreciative people really are about the efforts that have been put into it. When I was thinking about my council report over this weekend, I had a full rage rant thing all prepared. I don't think I'm going to go down that path right now. I feel like council is moving forward in a very positive way with the legal action that we initiated today. And, you know, it's going to come with challenges and some costs, but, you know, council is fully engaged in it, and we'll see what the results bring out of it. If nothing else, we're hoping for some common sense and logic and some answers to the whole process that's happened to us over the last little while. So I'll just leave it at that. Thanks.
Thank you. And council has all talked about the various things that we have done. I just think that this banner here in front of us shows that that we have an amazing community that has come together, and I sort of remember that together we're better, and I think this community has definitely come together and shown that we have wonderful ideas, we have great resolve, we can work together, and we all get along. And I'm encouraged by that, and I just want to thank everybody for all the work that they have done in this school issue. And we'll see what happens. We need to make sure that we stay focused and that we continue to provide a great town for our citizens and a good education, whatever that happens to be, for our students, because that's very, very important. I have been at a couple of runs. Well, runs, I say walk, but Councillor Youngberg was very involved in setting up the Daffodil Dash, and when Eileen McGinn and I came in at the end, they all clapped because we were the last ones. Now, we were walking quickly, but we weren't running. And then yesterday, I was in the hospice walk, and that was up at the Canal Trail. So that was a good one as well, although I didn't do the whole 5 kilometers. I was busy talking. So I'm trying to keep my health because it gets a little stressful, and we tend to go to a fair number of meetings and blood pressure goes up. So it's important that we enjoy this good weather and that we continue to have fun and do lots of things together. And we still offer Canada's warmest welcome. Probably really will be by this weekend. So thank you very much. And could we have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please? Councillor King, Councillor Youngberg. All in favor? Thank you.